Well, it is a Tuesday morning, and once again, we have more private land becoming public land with the Goldstream Greenbelt that is being put together right now. It's actually kind of a hodgepodge of state-owned land and now some conservation trust groups that have purchased land from private individuals and put it in together to make this continuous green belt of public use lands, public access, whatever you want to call it. It's the idea that it's being taken out of private hands and being put into a kind of a general use for the public. And I have some thoughts on this because I like the idea of people being able to go out into the wild, either for use in hunting or recreation or whatever else. I really like that. The problem I have is that when private land is no longer private, it becomes public land, who actually owns it? The state? The federal government? How can a non-person own land? This is part of an issue for me because we treat governments and we treat these organizations as if somehow they are people, but they're not. They are being held in trust by individuals who get to decide what to do with the land without bearing the responsibility of their bad decisions. And this is something which I struggle with because I do enjoy using the public lands. I really do. The issue then for me becomes, well, what would be a better way of doing it? Would it be for private individuals to sell permits to use their land, to allow access to chosen people here and there? Well, that's not fair. Some people might say, no, of course it's not. But that's the whole point. It's not fair the way it is anyway. When you've got public land, then only certain people are allowed to use at certain times because of government interference. How is that different from private land being restricted in who gets to use it when they want to or when they're allowed by their friends? And I guess this is part of an issue for me. It's a greater issue. We're seeing more and more land, especially here in Alaska, being taken out of private hands and being put into either these trusts or direct government ownership, which again is an oxymoron. And what it's doing is it's restricting economic development. It is curtailing potential, I don't know, anything from mining to oil development or whatever else for the purpose of recreation of who, particularly, who gets to recreate in these lands. Usually it's people who have money. It's people who have the toys, whether we're talking about skiing or snow machining. This is not something that Joe Blow is going to be able to go out there and say, I'm going to spend the day out there recreating. They wouldn't be able to do that if it was still in private hands either. The issue for me, once again, becomes this issue that now the ruling class gets to decide how that land is used, and they get to have access for their own private recreation as if it belonged to them. But they don't pay taxes on it. They don't pay for maintenance on it. They get the rest of us to pay for the maintenance of these lands. You look at the ski trails here in the borough. Who pays to have those ski trails maintained? Is it the users? Do you pay a user fee when you go out and ski? Nope. So who pays for it? Well, the people do. The people who don't get to use the ski trails, they're the ones that have to pay for it. If some guy owns a house anywhere in the borough, his tax dollars go to basically pay for the recreation of the rich, the ruling class, their friends. Something to think about, and it's something which I think is a problem that deserves further discussion. Hopefully when we get the phone lines in, we'll have an opportunity for people to actually engage in a discussion on this. In the meantime, you can send me an email. Tell me what you think, steve@radiofreespeech.com, and that can be for anything, whether it's a news tip or a commentary suggestion. Once again, steve@radiofreespeech.com. Tell your friends and hit me up on Facebook. If you like what I'm doing, please consider buying a subscription or becoming a patron at Patreon. Thank you.